Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree that we've just witnessed an amazing and mesmerizing performance with Utsav Lal and Samir Chaterjee. And I feel very privileged to be on stage with two such remarkable musicians, particularly so as, for me, this is really an introduction to a world of music about which I know nothing. I think this is the first time I've actually been to a performance of this kind of music. And I'm so amazed and impressed by so many things about it, not least the fact that in the last piece there was such an extraordinary level of understanding between the two musicians, and they have, as far as I know, just met each other for the first time today. So perhaps I can begin by asking you, Utsav, does the idea of performing with a musician who you meet on the same day of the performance, is that a daunting idea, or did you feel that with a master like Samir Chaterjee you would be in safe hands?
Yeah, well, I was sure that playing with someone like Samirji, it would be like it'd be quite comfortable because of the amazing level that he's at with his playing. It used to be quite scary at first, just meeting someone and for the first time, maybe even half an hour before the show and talking through things. But I think now in Indian music, like, there's almost a template that you can kind of follow that a lot of musicians would understand. But the fun thing is when you meet and you try and take it outside of the kind of thing that everyone else has already done. And because it's mostly improvised, I don't think that much work needs to be done in terms of fixing things before, maybe just the start and the end. But a lot of the work is like, it's nice to play with someone before the concert so you can understand the way that they think and the way that they react to music.
Well, there seems to have been an incredible chemistry, and my impression was that there was a sort of mutual inspiration. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was really inspired by all the solos that Samirji was playing, and even the different ways. Like if I'd like throw out an idea, then he'd immediately pick it up and then react to it in his own way, not just copy that idea, but take it somewhere else. And I think like it's important, like even in jazz, to always be listening to the other musician and constantly like changing what you play based on how they react to what you've already played.
And how do you do that? Is it through years of experience? I mean, you seem to know exactly where Utsav was and what stage he was on the journey.
Yeah, it's experience, intuition, and your understanding of the genre, the form, the format. And these are some of the basic outlines, but again, on top of all of this, I'm looking at him.
You use the word form, and again, for somebody who's totally ignorant, to be honest, I confess, like me, can I go right back to basics? And I mean, in the publicity, you know, I read about you playing raga on the piano. Can you define to people like me what is a raga? What is the form of a raga?
It's quite hard to I'd say it's quite hard to define a rag. Like, literally, it would mean something. It's like a color. So rag, basically, it's similar to like a scale or a mode where you have a certain set of notes that you would use to ascend the rag and a certain set of notes to descend. But the most important thing in the rag is to bring out its color and its phrase, and it's almost completely improvised. Especially the slow, unaccompanied section, you start with one note of the rag, and you slowly introduce another note. And over the course of, sometimes that section could take up to an hour or 2 hours, you slowly paint the picture of the rag. And then once the tabla joins in, there's different compositions which are set to different cycles. So the compositions that are played today, the first one is set to a 7-beat cycle. So you'd play the composition once or twice and then present improvisations within the structure of the rag around those compositions.
Samir, is the raga the basis of traditional Indian music?
Yes, it is.
Can you expand on that?
Raga is In the Western sense, they call it a mode. It's very hard to describe because what Utsav says that's ascending and descending pattern, and then there are certain notes which are to be emphasized most, a second note which is to be emphasized, second note most. And these are all basically guidelines or means to ultimately achieve something that would color the mind. In the definition of raga that we find in one of the oldest texts we have from Natya Shastra, it says, Ranjayate iti raga. Raga is that which colors the mind.